Most people, most companies make exactly the same mistakes. They think that their database, their second brain, their knowledge, their document, the client's data is the most important asset, the most important data. You must protect it. But that is important, yes, but it's not everything. And it's not your real asset. Because while that must be protected for privacy, that is not the asset of your company. The asset of your company is the way that you operate, are your skills, your recipes, your loops. That is what needs to be protected. Now, the moment that you share this data online with a cloud AI, you are giving the recipe of your success to those corporations. This is how they learn how you operate. Let me be precise here. I'm not saying that every provider trains on every prompt or copies every company's workflow. My point is broader. A skill, its file, its tool, its permissions, and the trace of its execution can cross providers' boundaries, even when model training is disabled. The details depend on the provider and the product. I'll link a full breakout in the Substack article below. Depend on the subscription you have or the use of API, and different companies have different terms and conditions. In most of them you read, your data is not going to be used for training, or you need to opt out if you don't want your data to be used for training. For enterprise and business account, this opt-out is by default. On API, it should be by default. But while this is telling you one story, your data is not going to be used for training, that doesn't explain what they might do with your data. So those terms and conditions are extremely vague. One company that does a little bit more clear terms and conditions is Google. Okay, Google, pretty clear. We are going to train on your data. And if you opt out, some of the functionality are not going to be available. But transparency doesn't mean that it's a better system. It just means that you partially know what they're doing it. So opting out is not enough. How do we deal with this? Okay, you did your first step, hopefully you did, okay? Now you have your second brain running locally on your machine, like I do, okay? Like I've been saying for months, that this is the first, most important steps. But it's not just because in that second brain there is your data, because from that system it's possible to extract the way that you think. It's possible to extract your skills, your loops, and so on. So you need to protect it for that reason. This is not just about privacy. It's not about I don't want my customer data to be shared with those corporations. Or maybe your problem here is there is regulation that stops me from sharing my client's data with anybody else. So data needs to stay on my premises. That's valid. The only solution is to run local AI. But even local AI doesn't mean that it's 100% safe. It depends how you use it. It depends how you configure it. It depends what kind of tool you're calling. The moment that you're using some tools, some plugins, you might be sharing your skills, your knowledge, your private data. So working with local AI or cloud AI, it's an act that we need to fully understand. The journey of building a sovereign system where we can trust how it works, we can trust the data is protected, we can trust the data of our clients is protected, we can trust that our most important asset of our company, that we can call it loops and skills, they stay within our premises, that stay within our system. That our knowledge, our thinking, our second brain doesn't get shared with anybody. That is an act that requires attention, that requires understanding. And when you read, we're not going to train on your data, doesn't mean anything. Those are terms and conditions, those are law talking. This is a way to say, feel safe, share everything, because we don't need your raw data, we need the processed data from you. And there is a lot of caveats. Okay, the moment that you give a feedback, we grab the entire chat because we need to check why you say it's positive or negative. The moment we might think that you are breaching the terms and conditions, we need to take your data and check. The moment that we think you are a kind of threat or risk or something, we need to hold all your data and analyze it and so on. So there are a lot of elements inside those terms and conditions that tells you, if you read, that as soon as you do something that is not just hello, how you doing, they're probably gonna check on everything you say. So that is the kind of level that we are. Now I'm pushing to the extreme because nobody knows, only they know, because there's no transparency. We don't know what actually do with our data. We just need to trust them. I create a deep dive article where you can go through, there is all the details, everything is explained, link in the description. This Substack article, it's open to every free subscribers, but if you want to support this channel, please subscribe for, how do you call it? Paid subscribers. Become a paid subscribers, and also please like and subscribe so you can help me grow this channel. Now there is a few more things that I want to tell you, and it is about running your local AI, because the question is now, shall you buy something? When is the right moment to buy? I made a video recently about this, link in the description or up there or somewhere, but I want to think a little bit together. First of all, understand that local AI is never, it probably will never be about saving money. The hardware, the electricity, the investment are not on your side. It's pretty expensive. Going cloud means you use a system that is being optimized, they scale up. So therefore the price is always going to be cheaper and probably faster. Now there is some cases where you can actually run a system much faster on your system, but those are really rare and require specialized hardware. So if you think about, I'm going to buy local, so I'm going to save money, it's really hard to defend that position. But if you think about having a stable system that doesn't change every day because they're doing some optimization, some adjustment to their models, that stability, you can only have it if you run on your machine. Another element to consider is what we've been talking today, is the privacy of your data and the sovereignty of your asset, your loops, your skills, your recipes. And I'm not suggesting to go 100% local, because first of all, it's expensive and sometimes it's not possible. What you need to look at the hybrid solution, using local as much as you can, with the best model that you can afford running. And as today, we have model that can run even on mobile phone. So everybody can have a local AI that they can use, at least start to experiment and understand, find the limits. Because there is a lot of propaganda where unless you have the most powerful frontier model, then you can't do anything. But in reality, we already know that those frontier models from Anthropic and OpenAI and Google are kind of limited, but they guardrails. So those guardrails are systems that hold the AI within some specific path. If you ask specific questions, they won't answer to you, or they might downgrade the model so you receive a less intelligent output. If you do research on biology, if you work in cybersecurity, those frontier models won't answer to you. So cloud doesn't mean always better. Yes, a more powerful model. Yes, sometimes are really useful. Sometimes it's the only way that you can move forward. That we need to understand the cost. The real cost is much, much bigger than what it seems to be. There's a community that I'm building that if you are interested to those topics, you should join. We learn from each other, we collaborate and build together. The community run on Discord, link in the description. Thanks for your support. Thanks for watching this video until the end, and see you on the next one. Ciao.